Blue Exorcist chapter 143 is out, and I'm going to be completely honest, this is one of my favorite chapters of Blue Exorcist. While there is no action in this, we get set up for the oncoming actual confrontation for this section of the story, but also we got some really nice character interactions and just the characters just taking a breather and relaxing and just talking and hanging out before an inevitable fight, because it's just been action piece after action piece, plot point after plot point. The characters have not had their own time to breathe and just talk to each other, and that is something that this chapter really gets right. And we have an interaction at the end between Yukio and Rin that honestly really displays their brotherly bond and shows how much the two of them, especially Yukio, has developed from chapter 1, and I am just all but happy about it. Before we get into the video, only 26% of the people that actually watch my content are subscribed to the channel. So if you enjoy the content I make here, like Blue Exorcist, Four Nights, Eden Zero, etc., please like and subscribe and hit the notification bell to be updated whenever I upload next. I do have more stuff planned for Blue Exorcist. I actually have a video coming out within a week or two for Blue Exorcist that I've been putting off making for a little while now, but I feel like now is a good time for me to bring it out, so look forward to that. But with that out of the way, let's get right into the video. Chapter 143 of Blue Exorcist, titled Of One Cloth, Signs. And I just like how this is paneled out. We see Konako just beginning to break down, putting his hands on his face as he's breaking down into tears as Shima calls out to him, as even Izumo is just stopping in her tracks, as they both just say, "I can't do it," screaming at the top of their lungs, shocking everybody in the audience, especially Shiemi and the head exorcists, as the two of them just start just breaking down, with Izumo just saying, "I'm supposed to go back and leave Shiemi to fight? No way." Which I love that we got a panel just of Shiemi's eyes as she looks on as her friends are really just saying that they're not going to leave her. Konako saying how much of a coward he is, that he lacks the courage to even leave his friend. And I just like this one comedic panel, the two of them just shouting it out, Konako bawling his eyes out, being like, "It takes courage to leave, and I can't, and I don't have that." Izumo saying, "I've got no family anyway, so for me, it's okay if I can die," which is a very morbid comedic joke because that is kind of true. She has no family, which is very sad because of what we know about the Illuminati arc. So her saying that flat out is just kind of crazy. And she was just like, the stress is really getting to them. And he looks back to Bon as Bon just breathes a sigh of relief, saying that he's glad. Looks up and says, "It's not like you to insist on coddling us," as he talks straight to Lightning. As Lightning just laughs it off, says, "You saw right through me." As the other ex-fighters are kind of confused by this, Yukio points out that basically everybody that's telling them to leave are adults, they're leaders, they're the head exorcist, and they don't want to involve minors in such an unpredictable and very dangerous fight. But at the same time, they kind of need every single hand on deck that they can get. So basically what it comes down to is that they can stay if they want. The whole thing was a test. And Rin goes on to say, "I don't really get it, but I don't like going into this fight just assuming we're gonna die. We're fighting in order to live, aren't we?" As he just yells out for everyone, as I just love this comedic panel of Yukio correcting him when he's trying to be like, "I know it's unrealistic." That's just funny because I like Yukio correcting Rin from grammar from time to time. It's just kind of hilarious. But Rin goes on to say that we gotta win this all at once and all together. As I just like this huge panel of just Yukio and Rin just standing next to each other side by side, as Shima just points out that those two hadn't moved a single inch from when they were told to leave. And then Rin calls out to Shiemi as he says, "You gotta live too." As Shiemi agrees, and honestly this is just a really nice moment, as Shiemi then just goes up to the group and just grabs Izumo as they all just have a really nice reunion. This is a really nice moment, and I don't think I said this in my previous review, but a lot of people kind of speculated this, and they were right. Rin and Yukio they didn't move, they weren't going to leave to begin with, but literally they were just waiting on everyone else to just decide to stay and fight. Bon was going to stay, Izumo ended up staying, same with Konako, even though he is kind of the weak link of the group, which I just kind of like. They all just said, "This is going to be a fight to the death, but we're going to stay for our friend, we're not just going to let her face death on her own." It shows how much these guys are all friends and how much they're gonna go to hell and back for each other. Lightning then kind of gloats towards Osceola, saying that he knew it would work, and Osceola just said it wouldn't work. He goes on to apologize, saying that he asked Lightning to give all the X-Wires an out in order to preserve their lives. Lucy also ends up says that adults can't stand to see children die, so they ask them to consider it, but Yukio says, no, I'm an exorcist, so you have to let us decide who we are ourselves. And they agree and say that they understand. Lightning says, then we'll make full use of all of them. And Shima's just like, I want to be treated as a child, please. Hey, Konako, right? And I just love that this one little panel of Konako just ignoring Shima, which is honestly hilarious. Shima's the one person who's just like, I'm going to avoid fighting no matter what. I don't care if I'm on the losing side or the winning side. I just don't want to fight. I don't want to die. He's the most entertaining character of this series. He went from the character I cared the least about to the one that I just, in my top 5, just based off of his interactions with everybody. Lightning gets ready to go off to go search for intel in the vast area, and he calls for Bond to go join him. He then begins to wake up Mephisto from his naps, asking for him to magic them up some transportation, as he kind of like yells out as Bond and Lightning are just carrying him out of the barrier so they can go and like look for information. But Osceola just says while they're away, it's time for them to have a nice meal. As this is just a nice, simple thing that happens, I'm just going to breeze past it a little bit, but Osceola, Lucy, Konako, and Rin are all basically just cooking food from preserves. And let me get a bit more of Osceola as he does basically run more of a shop on food, on like how different types of food and ingredients are good for warding off evil, whether stuff is good for boosting stuff like flames and ice abilities. It's honestly a really nice bit of world building in this instance. Also, it's just nice that Rin is bonding with somebody over cooking, which is something that Rin is not only really good with, but he takes a lot of pride in. So I just like this big smile on his face when he listens to everything about how all these different things have different talismanic or warding effects, and how interested he really is in it. So it's honestly wholesome to see Rin just have fun like this. It's been a while since he just had the goofiest smile on his face, and we get to see more of that towards the end of the chapter. But during these interactions, Lucy states that Satan's son sure is amiable, which showcasing he is very pleasant to be around and just has a gleeful personality. But there's just one single panel of Rin just contemplating what she just said, because yeah, he is Satan's child, and he had an interaction with him in the previous chapter, so that's definitely weighing on him, and we'll see more of his inner thoughts later. But yeah, everyone just gets together that is not cooking, talking about how they're not good at cooking, which is honestly kind of hilarious. Like Yukio saying that he doesn't like cooking because there's too much up for interpretation for it. Izumo says that she hates that there's a time limit when it comes to when she has to cook. Shiemi says that she's a careless monster according to Rin when it comes to cooking. And Shima just says, I'm just goofing off, which is why he's not helping them at all. But everyone's just like, what else is new? As this is just something we kind of expect from Shima, just to goof off and do absolutely nothing. As this is going on, we cut to the recon team of Bond, Lightning, and Mephisto as they look over at this giant citadel area where it seems Satan's heart is. And honestly, this is just a really nice artistic panel showcasing Kato Sensei's just sheer artistic work when it comes to background drawings. And just the landscape and everything. So much detail in some of these buildings and areas that was crafted. But as we go on, Lightning tries to throw in a small low-level demon and says that it only allows the lowest level demons to fly in. And if Satan's heart is in that giant tower, then judging from what they've seen, in order to get close they have to go through those giant doors that they see right up front. And they'll have to cross 3 bridges that look like just giant rib arches. Lightning also looks up as we hear propellers going off, as it seems the Illuminati also has the drop on them, as they're all in helicopters just staring down, most likely just waiting for someone to attack Satan. Mephisto brings up that the Order right now can't afford to bring up any helicopters as they've been issued a request from aid from nearby nations, but the situation is the same everywhere, as some countries can't even be contacted, as we get a nice image of like certain parts of the world showcasing the spread of Satan's just cell, the Maja that Satan is, and how he's begun to merge with the world. And we saw from those 2 chapters where we got a glimpse into a possible future how much the world itself is shaped and twisted from what's going on right now with Satan altering the world. Lightning says regardless of how this fight turns out, the world is likely to change, as we get one panel of Mephisto opening his eyes. As we all know, he saw that potential future of how bad things kind of are, and how Rin is the Demon King. And I think, based on what we're going to be seeing here, and the words being spoken, what we're seeing right now could lead up to the pivotal point that could lead to that future. And whether or not things change is still yet to come. And Mephisto knows this, so I feel like he's going to do something about it, or something else is going to happen. But moving on, we see an image of everybody that stayed having curry, as we see Yukio walking along and seeing Rin sitting at the edge of the barrier. He asks what Rin is doing, as he just says that he's thinking. As Yukio jokingly says, "My big brother, thinking," and Rin is just like, "I think about stuff sometimes." Yukio just sits down next to Rin and gives himself the courage to just say to Rin, "If you're worried about something, you can tell me. Trying to handle everything alone doesn't work out so well." Obviously, speaking from experience. And as Rin is about to say something, Yukio just embarrassingly just says, "I learned that lesson. That's why I want to help. Now I regret not talking to anybody." There's a moment of silence as Yukio just tells Rin not to force himself, but Rin just comes out and tells what's been weighing on his mind. As he tells Yukio that during the whole explosion that happened earlier, Rin talked to Satan before everything changed. He was weak, and Rin could have really let him have it in that one instance, but he couldn't bring himself to do it. Instead, he tried to get Satan to make peace, as this shocks Yukio, but Rin is very serious about this, as he says, "Satan said he'd rather die." Yukio says, "Well, of course he would choose that," and Rin agrees, but Rin looks at the hilt of his sword as he says, "Recently, the human side of me finally defeated the demon side. Now I have better control of my flame. But I'm supposed to make peace," as he questions himself based off everything Satan said. Obviously, with humans seeing demons as always evil, as something to be tamed, not equals, etc. Rin says that Satan saw right through my offer and scorned me for thinking demons are dangerous and evil, and for suppressing and taming my own demonic nature. I barely know anything about demons, so maybe I was wrong. Which, honestly, makes sense. I mean, look, there aren't a lot of bad demons. There are demons that help Exorcists fight other demons. There are genuinely nice demons in the world of Blue Exorcist, but a lot of Exorcists see them as pure evil and tools to an end. So we got characters like Kuro, who is adorable and is the mascot of this series that everybody loves, as well as Izumo's foxes that help and protect her. Shiemi's, I forgot the name of the grass demon that helps her out. We also have Mephisto helping him out. I mean, he's not evil, he's more like chaotic neutral, like lawful neutral or something like that. Amaimon is now completely on their side. It's a whole thing that we have to think about. So yeah, Rin is definitely thinking this over as he's questioning himself and also how he views the world and the different sides in this battle. Rin tells Yukio that he wanted to talk to Satan and he wanted to ask him something, but Yukio stops him and just says flat out that Satan is a demon and demons will say anything to trick humans. So don't listen. Saying that he has control over his flames now. That's the result of hard work the rest of them can barely imagine. Stating that Rin is helping people, so he's not wrong. And yeah, he's right. Rin went through a lot of hard work to get to where he is today and to control his power. And honestly, we flip over to the next page as Rin just has the biggest, goofiest smile on his face, and he's just laughs saying Yukio hardly ever compliments him, so he's kind of blushing. As Yukio is also embarrassed for complimenting him and says he didn't mean it, he was just stating a fact. But Rin just stops and says, "I hear you, you're probably right. I'm doing awesome. Now I feel better." As he thanks Yukio, and Yukio tries to make sure that Rin's okay, as Rin just says, "Yeah, I really am alright." As he says, "Let's head back, I'm famished. It's no ordinary curry, so be prepared." As the very end of the chapter, the last page, has Yukio looking off at Rin with a concerned look as the final panel is the entire landscape as we see it towards the center where Satan is. Ending the chapter. Blue Exorcist was really good. I like that we got our characters, had time to breathe, some nice character interactions, a bit of laying down the groundwork for what they're planning to do. I like that they just wanted to give the kids an out so that they didn't have to fight a battle to the death essentially. I like that the brothers were just going to stay no matter what. I like Bond kind of saw through this whole ruse. And I like how at the very end of the chapter, just Rin and Yukio having a nice heart-to-heart. Because they're brothers, but throughout the story, they've hardly had too much time to just sit down and just let everything air out. Now, I think Yukio could have worded himself better. Because Rin is definitely shaking from what Satan said in their previous confrontation. About how Rin views all demons as evil. And how he tamed his demon half. So, I honestly think that Rin, instead of taming his demon half, has to fully accept it so they can become one and the same. Instead of just being a human, he has to accept his demon side. And I think something's going to happen. This questioning of himself and Satan's words in his head, even though Yukio is literally just complimenting him and just being on his side, I feel like Yukio could have worded things better and just tried to just think about it a bit more, because this is weighing heavily on Rin. And I feel like this situation is probably going to lead into the potential future of Rin being the Demon King, and whatever's going to happen in his upcoming fight, whether something bad happens to Yukio or his friends, will lead him down that path if we do reach that point. And I like that Mephisto, who saw the potential future, probably expects something to happen, so either he's going to change something, or he's going to let things play out. I have no clue. But either way, this is one of the best chapters of Blue Exorcist. Nice character interactions, everybody gets a chance to breathe. Rin is happy. Rin just talks it out with Yukio. The two of them have a nice brotherly moment. It was just all around nice and wholesome, as we get a big cliffhanger for the next chapter. But what did you guys think? Leave your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. Let me know how much you're enjoying Blue Exorcist, what kind of Blue Exorcist videos do you want me to do in the future, and how much did you enjoy this chapter as well. Leave your thoughts and opinions in the comments, and like and subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell for updates on future videos so you can be updated whenever I upload next. And with all that said and done, I hope you all have an awesome day.